Good morning! Good morning, Storytimers. It's me, Donna Vee, and I'm so excited to be here today. Today is Thursday, January 7th, and we are live on Facebook. We are live on YouTube. We are live on Twitch, and until March 31st, we're live on Periscope. So don't forget, if you're watching from Periscope, to go over to YouTube, like, subscribe, check out the page in case it's, well, maybe some people just don't want to join Facebook. I mean, I personally enjoy Facebook, but some people like other things. Good morning, Holly. And hi, Patrick. Hi, Patrick. Good morning. How are you? I'm so excited to be here today. Andreas is here from Germany, starting his new job. I hope you're having such success. Good morning, Ryan. He says, good morning, Storytimers. So exciting. I love when we're all together. It makes my day so much better to start out this way. And I know it's later in the afternoon and the evening for some of you. So good evening. Maybe I should whisper if you guys are getting ready to go to sleep. I don't know. But I can't help it. I wake up and I have this much energy. And it's sunny and it's blue skies outside. So for me, that fuels me for sure. I get so excited. I woke up this morning with lots of gratitude. I definitely was grateful for Yogi only waking me up like 5 times during the night. No, he's such a sweetie. Good morning, Frank Simon. And you know what else I'm grateful for? Today's letter is the letter F. Frank, your name starts with the letter of the day. Wait, what is on my eye? Got it. Yes. So, yay! You could be your own boss. Isn't that a great feeling? It is a great feeling. But if you are, I didn't know if you were going to sleep or relaxing. I know it's funny because I wonder sometimes for people that are watching and it's like story time, maybe they're trying to put their little ones to sleep. And I'm like, woohoo! Maybe I should do a whole other story time that's like, hi guys, it's me, Donna Vee. That's like ASMR. Are you familiar with that? That stuff is cool. It's like auditory, sensory, something. I don't even know. All I know is that I don't whisper very often. My whispers are not very soft. But I can tell you this. We are getting ready to stretch it out. Oh, Frank, you had the same kind of thing? Ozzy woke you up 3 times in the middle of the night to go outside? I don't know. Was there like a crazy moon or something? I don't know. But all I know is that I just wanted to like sleep a little bit, and it was a little bit of a challenge. But I got back to sleep, and that's what I was grateful for. And then, of course, waking up, getting ready, taking a shower, brushing my teeth, healthy habits, all to get here to see you guys and spend the morning together. What? I love it. Today is January 7th, and it's Thursday. And the letter, as we already said, is F. So we have to switch you out. Let's find it. Let's see what the letter F looks like. Uh-oh. Did I misplace it? You guys, I have an executive producer that's very far away. Sometimes I wish, well, lots of times I wish that you were here so you can help me find this. Let's see. F is for fabulous and fantastic and find. So I need to find it. Here's G, so I know it can't be that far. Let's see. Maybe it got stuck. I don't know. But you know what we'll do? We're going to stretch to the alphabet anyway. And we'll find it. Oh, I can find it in these. In the octopus's garden. Let's see. I hope you're all having a fantastic morning or evening or had a fantastic day, depending on where you are and what time it is. Let's see. But I need to know what children's names I'm going to say. Are you kidding? That the F is missing in both spots? Now that is a mystery. That is a fantastical mystery. That's right, Andreas. Football, Jets. That show was last night, but let me tell you, the fantasy is are the Jets going to ever Go further. F, further. Good morning, sunshine, he says, Mr. Jim Tomlinson, all the way from California. I was speaking to somebody last night from California, and it's wild, and I really feel that today we are definitely sending love and light to all of our friends in California that are under such a strict shutdown. Definitely we're doing that today. So today's letter is F, and the challenge for me today is to find the kids' names that start with F. Do you think I could do it? I think I can. I could focus. So let's see. Good morning. Do we even have a lot of people with the letter F? Finn and Fletcher. Yes. Thank you. I appreciate that. I agree. It has to be. Finn, Fletcher. I think Fifi from up the street. Good morning, my brother's here. Nice to see you, Peter. Chris Dugan, what's up? Oh, boy. There's such silly messages coming in. You're so silly. So really today it's Finn and Fletcher and little Fifi. All right, so that's pretty good. I don't feel so bad because I got a little nervous. I couldn't find it. But you know what I don't feel bad about? Exercise. I think we need to stretch and get ready. Excuse me, sir. Now you have to hold that. That's, my little buddy. All right, you ready? Let's start the day off with, yes, Peter, I already said Frank. I did. So let's start it off with some stretching and some healthy habits. Number 1, drink some water. Water is amazing. It is. Water is amazing, and so is stretching. 26 letters in the alphabet. 13 letters in is the letter M, which is the middle. Not by design, I don't know. It's a miracle. So you ready? Let's start. We go forward, then we go back. You get to S, non-spaghetti arm, seated jumping jacks. I want to see some serious effort today, okay? Let's go. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, middle, N, O, P, Q, R, S, switch, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. Very nice. Good job. If you did it, I'm proud of you. If you didn't, I would like you to run in place for 15 minutes. F, 15. Like all of a sudden I'm a personal trainer now. It's awesome though. I will say you got to stretch, you got to get the blood flowing. And because we have to sit still to listen to story time, I want to get all of the energy out early on in the hour. All right. Next, practice the ASL alphabet, which I love to do because I think it's so, we can change it to a bubble. I just changed my this to a this, and I love it. So we're going to practice the ASL alphabet. Okay, so for those of you at home, this is what it looks like when done by human hands. But the book that we always refer to is, yes, this amazing book called Dina the Deaf Dinosaur, an excellent resource for people that are liking to learn or want to teach kids about people that cannot hear or speak. It's about deaf culture, and it's really a great book, written by Carol Adebato, illustrated by Valentine. And we refer to this so that we may practice together. I love this. You ready? Each day, we get better and better. All right, I'll go slowly. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P. T. So if you're new, P and K are very similar. Q and G. So Q, R, S, T, U, V. W, X, Y, Z. Amazing. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you for just trying to practice the ASL alphabet. And it's amazing because the more we expand our minds and learn and stretch our imagination, the better off we are, especially because you never know what we're going to encounter. So if you are in a quarantine, let's say you're watching California, and you have so many hours in the day, wouldn't it be better to have something to practice and learn or draw or write? Because it's so good to use your imagination. Here, we get to use it together, and then we get to read, and it's amazing, and I love it. The other healthy habit that we always talk about is making sure to remember to take your vitamins. And good morning, Mom. She said, fabulous Thursday to you. Fabulous Thursday to you. So we love to take our vitamins. Oh, I just dropped all my letters. Sorry. I got flustered for one moment and I dropped my letters. Flustered is a great F word. Here we go. So we take our vitamins. There's either one of each or two of the same. And I love the fact that there are some people that try to guess what it is that I'm choosing. I will say this, kids. This is a perfect time to practice your manners because you want to say please and thank you, right, to whoever's helping you. And remember, maybe it is one of each. We're going to find out. Remember that they may smell like candy. They may even look a little like candy. Sometimes they taste a little like candy, but they're not candy. So you only want to take the recommended daily dosage, okay? Mine is 2. So, and then my favorite book, A Beginner's Guide to the Universe, Uncommon Ideas for Living an Unusually Happy Life by author Mike Dooley. And this book was written by author Mike Dooley for his daughter. So when I started doing this March 21st, this book became what we like to call the resource for the nuggets of truth. And it's great because I know that there are so many young people watching that need to be inspired, as well as there are adults watching, which I love. Some of you are watching because you just really enjoy this, and I appreciate you so much. Some are watching because they're watching with a family. Whatever the reason is you're watching, I guarantee there's a message for everyone here. Okay, now, why do I have a book out during vitamin time? Because I use it to cover my mouth so I don't chew with my mouth open or talk with my mouth full. Those are 2 not nice things to do. So we want to practice good manners along with healthy habits. Ready for the reveal? Let's see what we have. 1, 2, 3. Oh, it's 2 of the same. And it's 2 purple. Kind of close to my hair color. Whoa. Maybe today I should pick a random page. Or if someone new is watching and would like to pick a page, I would love that. So, or Jim from California, because you're from California, or Chris Dugan, whoever, between 7 and 1:58. No fighting, only polite. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Pretty good. They're not as tart as the pink ones, so I appreciate that. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So if no one's picking a page, then I must pick one at random. And nothing's random. You know that, right? All right. So let's see. I'm trying to figure out if we've been down this end of the book before. Here we go. Page 124. Getting out my marker. Because you can tell that we've read 123. Yeah. Here we are. When the choice is to hurt or be hurt, cheat or be cheated, always, always, always choose the latter. And then try to figure out how you created such a fork in the road in your life to begin with. Always kindness prevails, no matter how things appear, nor how humbling a task, nor how unkind they've been. When someone speaks on a topic unfamiliar to you, you might be able to gauge the honesty and accuracy of their words by all else they've ever shared with you on topics you were familiar with. Same for authors. Sometimes expecting a straight answer from some people is absolutely out of the question, which should never answer your question. Well, I will say this. I definitely think that there are so many different lessons that you can learn from so many different things that go on in life. But I always say choose kindness. Above all, choose kindness. Definitely. Yeah. Okay. Now. Yes, and smiling is always the way to go too. That is the truth. Always smile because it'll always elevate your feelings of goodness. I do agree with that. All right, speaking of elevating feelings of goodness, you know what time it is. It's time for our social distancing buddy. Who shall we use today? Let's see. I think Cheeky Monkey. I think Cheeky Monkey because, that's true. Thank you. It always keeps me on track. I have to do my alliterative sentence first. You know what? I wonder if it's going to be a win or a loss today. All right, here we go. I'm not looking. All right, Cheeky Monkey, stay here with me in case I lose and I'm sad. Forgetful Frank forgot Friday's frying falafels for Franny Ferrero. Forgetful Frank forgot Friday's frying falafels for Franny Ferrero. Forgetful Frank forgot Friday's frying You got me. Forgetful Frank forgot Friday's frying falafels for Franny Ferrero. You tripped me up on the falafel, Frank. I'll get you, my Frank. I have to say, I do really like a good falafel. Forgetful Frank forgot frying falafels for Franny Ferrero. Oh, I flubbed that one, didn't I? All right. So, he did. He got me on the last hurdle. You notice that. Now it's perfect timing for Cheeky Monkey because you'd think I'd be sad over losing that, but I'm not because it's just practice for, I don't even know if there's going to be like an ultimate sentence one day he's going to come at me with. One day we'll be big and famous and Frank Simon will be providing alliterative sentences for me when I'm on, like, I don't know, what would I be on? Netflix? Hulu? Something. And then my executive producer will be being quality control, and then all of my friends will be there, and Cheeky Monkey, I know. Oh, nice. Congratulations, Frank. Woohoo, down with Vaisels. Nice. All right. What kind of producer is that? You're supposed to be behind me. All right, here we go. Today, let's get serious for one moment, because it really was brought to my attention last night at the seriousness of what is going on in this world. I mean, I've known it, but speaking to my friend last night, Daryl Wright, I was able to really speak to someone who's in California who truly was giving me a little bit more information and let me know that, wow, I need to reach out to my cousin, Maureen, because we need to send love and light out there. We really do. Hey, nice, Christopher S. Strite. Good for you. Good morning. So today we are going to send so much love and light, and we're going to take some sadness off of their shoulders and replace it with gladness with this little guy. And it is going to elevate the vibration of the global nation, worldwide foundation. I need to write it down, whatever it is. We are elevating the vibration of the global population. Yeah, I finally got it. Awesome. It is global population. What? Okay. So today, from your head, your heart, and your whole being, I'd like you to join me in sending out peace, love, light, hope, healing, and laughter and joy to our friends that are watching out in California, because they really need it. We need it all across the world. But I want to just say that if we can just send a little extra special love and light and an extra hug, I think it would be helpful. And I would really appreciate it. Okay? So, oh, you know what? That's right. You're right, Cheeky. We've been having friends together. So let's do a little bit more healing for everyone that is all, yes, that is so true, affected by COVID-19. I agree. Thank you so much for that. That's a great suggestion. Aw, I love us. We're such a good family, right? So if you and you, Cecilia will heal you, and of course, Cheeky Monkey and us together could just really focus on that right now, I'd really appreciate it. We can take a moment. So from your head, from your heart, and your whole being, let's do that. Thank you. Thank you so much for that, because I think it's so important that we remember that life is not just happening right here. It's way beyond what we can even imagine. So thank you so much for taking the time to do that with me together today. I'll get my words together, I promise. It's a focus thing. Okay. Now, are you excited? We are going to focus our energy and harness it so that we can get ready for story time. All right. So we bring our hands up, we take a very deep breath in, and we say, I am. And then release it, and we add only positive things, words, and thoughts after our I am statement, just like in What Should Darla Do? Right? I am caring, persistent, strong. This was one of my favorite moments because I have been practicing I am statements for a very long time. Thank you to the great teachings of, wait a second. Oh, it's right next to me. Wayne Dyer, who I absolutely love. Wayne Dyer is amazing. And I would read that children's book to my children when they were younger. But Wayne Dyer teaches some amazing things. And one of the most impactful things I've learned from listening to Mr. Wayne Dyer is never follow up a sentence that starts with I am with anything negative. So that's what we like to do here on Storytime. So are you ready? Here we go. I am peace. I am love. I am safe. I am ready. I'm ready for story time. I'm so excited. I really am. Today's going to be an extra special day. So today's letter is F, right? We know that. And one of the words that starts is farm. And look at this. Look at this book. I received the coolest, kindest, sweetest, most thoughtful package in the mail all the way from Ireland. And it came from my executive producer, Ryan. And I'm so excited because I wonder if it smells like Ireland. I don't know. It smells like a book. But I was wondering, like, would it, I don't know, is this what Ireland sounds like? And it feels like? It's so interesting to know that that's where it came from. Don't you ever wonder where things came from and the history of them. I'm just totally into that. So let's see what counting farm animals is all about. Oh, look at what's there. One of my favorites. A goat. And ducks. Oh, and there's little Lammy. Right? There she is. Okay, here we go. Let us play counting farm animals. Aw, and look at their little faces, all different emotions. Are you ready to count? Farm animals. How many chicks can you count? Ready? Let's do it together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 chicks. How cute. What? Wait a minute. I got fooled. Guess what happened? There are 9 chicks. You know what happened? Oh, this one is a duck. See? You can't judge a duck by its bill. Well, you can actually. That's really what I should have done. Oh man, got me. Okay. Are there more cows or rabbits? Oh boy, I'm gonna look very carefully. Ooh, I wonder if it's a trick. Are there more cows or rabbits? Well, if that's a bull, then they're going to say there's more rabbits. No! With 4 cows and 3 rabbits, there are more cows. I think I'm just going to read. Oh my God, how cute. How many ducks are there? I'm going to be careful this time. Can you count the ducks at home? Duck with an umbrella. Duck with a book. How cute. There's so much duck love. I think I know the answer. Thank goodness. There are 12 ducks. See that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 ducks. Aw, how many sheep can you count? See that? I know what my answer is. 7 sheep. I love the faces. Looks like Lammy. Look at Lammy. Lammy's famous. Are there more roosters or hens? Let's see. Are there more roosters or hens? Good question. With 3 roosters and 3 hens, the number of roosters is equal to the number of hens. Aw, look, there's a dragonfly. Can you count the bees? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are 7 bees. I like this one. Smile's cute. Oh, hedgehogs. Oh my goodness, look at the hedgehog playing the guitar. How many hedgehogs are there? The hedgehog's going fishing and hunting. There are 5 hedgehogs. How many rabbits can you count? Oh, and then how many are gray? Whoa. Okay. So look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 rabbits. And then how many are gray? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. Let's see if we got it right. There are 8 rabbits, in which there are 4 gray. How many horses are there? Ooh. See, are they going to trick us and say one is a pony? Nope. Straightforward. 2 horses. Oh, look how beautiful. How many butterflies are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 butterflies. They're beautiful. There are 16 butterflies. Oh, look at the cute little pigs. How many pigs are there? Can you count with me? Look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 pigs. Five pigs. Oh, they're so cute. Are there more dogs or donkeys? Can you see? Oh my goodness. Well, this looks like our friend Ugly Dog from another book we've read, but I only see 1 dog and 2 donkeys. So there are more donkeys. How many turkeys are there? Ooh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 turkeys. Are there more cats or chicks? Uh-oh, let's not get tricked again. But look at the baby goat. I'd say just by looking, there's way more cats than chicks. They're so cute. They're all smiling. Well, with 5 chicks and 10 cats, there are definitely more cats. How many mouses can you count? Well, let's see how many mice there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That one says Merry Christmas. There are 9 mouses. I would think it would be 9 mice. But I mean, I'm not going to argue. How many goats and geese are there? Well, that farmer looks like he's going to check that out. Goats and geese. Sheep looks very happy that it's not a goat or a geese. There's 1 goat and 1 goose. Oh, look at the pigeons. Can you count them with me? Let's try. 1, 2, 3, 4. Look how cute they are. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Wait a second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I lost track. Backwards. Let's see. There are 10 pigeons. How many fish are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fishes. There are 5. Do you count? Wait, can you count the ostriches? Look at the ostrich. That's so funny. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And how many are with pairs of glasses? Wait a second. How cute. Can you see that she's wearing sunglasses? I have glasses like that somewhere over here. That is funny. I like that she's wearing glasses. There are 6 ostriches, in which there is only one ostrich with a pair of glasses. Wonder where she got it from. And that is the end of our counting book, Counting Farm Animals. I love the fact that all these little farm animals are so cute and different. But I have to say, some of my favorite are the sheep and the dragonfly. I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope you guys counted along. Yeah, that was a lot of counting. I know. Jeez, a few. Oh, Finn and Fletcher are here, and today's letter is F. Is that true? I think I see a friend. How awesome is that? Good morning, Finn. Good morning, Fletcher. Today's letter is the letter F. No, thank you, Ryan, for sending me such an awesome book. Okay, now the next book we're going to read, I'm going to save. I'm going to read Fox Be Nimble. We're going to finish up with the other book that I received from Ryan. Okay, Fox loves to play rock star, even if his audience is his little sister Louise. Let's see what Fox has to say. By James Marshall. Fox Be Nimble. Fox the Famous. Fox's mom was on the phone. Fox would love to help, said Mom. I'll send him right over. I won't do it, said Fox. Whatever it is, I'm playing rock star. Mrs. Ling across the street needs you to sit with her kids, said Mom. Why don't you do it, said Fox. This is my quiet time, said Mom. Now hurry up. No, said Fox. And that is that. Oh, really, said Mom. And Fox went across the street. How nice of you, Fox, said Mrs. Ling. Mom made me, said Fox. Mrs. Ling got into her car. I do hope they behave, she said. I can handle them, said Fox. They're just kids. And Mrs. Ling drove off. Hot dog, yelled the Ling kids, and they went wild. Stop that, cried Fox. Whoa. I don't have time for this. Quit it. Come down for there, cried Fox. But the Ling kids would not quit. They did just what they wanted. Fox had to get tough. Uh-oh. I'll tell your mom, he said. And the Ling kids got very still. We'll be good, they said. Why don't you play in the backyard, said Fox. And the kids liked that idea. May we play with our new balloons? They said. I don't see why not, said Fox. And Fox went back to playing Rockstar. The girls will love this, he said. Suddenly, he had an odd feeling. The Ling kids were up to something. Do you see that? Do you see what they're up to? They're up in the sky. Fox ran into the backyard. Come back here this minute, he cried. Bye-bye, the Ling kids called out. Oh no, cried Fox. Their mom will kill me. I'll have to catch them. And he climbed the fence. And he fell right into some mud. Tore his brand new blue jeans, tripped and stubbed his toe, and ran smack into Mrs. O'Hara. It's an Irish kind of day. Then Fox got a bright idea. He climbed up to a very high place. I'll grab them when they fly by me. They float by me, he said, and he tried not to look down. Fox did not like high places. I jumped off a diving board that high once. It was not a good feeling. But the wind carried the Ling kids right back home. What have you little darlings been up to? Said Mrs. Ling. And just what have you done with poor Fox? That night, Fox's mom turned on TV. A fox was rescued from a high place today, said the newscaster. Why, that's you, Fox, said Mom. Fox is famous, cried Louise. Oh, quit it, said Fox. Well, I guess he didn't get famous for being a guitar player. Fox stepped on one of his skates and went flying. Who left that there? He cried, and he landed with a bang. Look at the frog. Oh, it's a skate. I thought that was a frog. Mom and Louise came running. I'm dying, cried Fox. It's only a scratch, said Mom. Nothing to worry about. Fox is pretty dramatic. I can't look at all the blood, cried Fox. There's no blood, said Mom. Don't leave me, cried Fox. Mom and Louise put Fox to bed. Call Dr. Ed, said Fox, before it's too late. Really, Fox, said Mom. You're making such a fuss. Louise called Dr. Ed to come over. Then she stepped on Fox's other skate and bounced down the stairs. Flew right out the front door and ran smack into Mrs. O'Hara. That poor woman has no luck. Poor Louise must hurt all over, said Dr. Ed. But Louise didn't cry. She didn't complain, not even a peep. Very brave, said Dr. Ed. Very brave. Louise is tough, said Mom. Now then, said Dr. Ed. What's the matter with Fox? Oh, it's just a scratch, said Fox. I don't like to make a fuss. Mom didn't say a word. Fox on parade. Fox is showing off, said Dexter. Quit it, Fox, said Mr. Sharp. We don't have time for this. The big parade is next week, and the band played on. Fox is showing off again, said Carmen. That does it, said Mr. Sharp. Fox was told to leave the band room. Come back when you have changed your ways, said Mr. Sharp. But I like to show off, said Fox. Fox sat in the schoolyard by himself. There are things that you can't change, he said. Look out! Look out! Cried a voice. Uh-oh. Fox almost got hit. Oh dear, said his friend Raisin. I'm so clumsy. You should be more careful, said Fox crossly. I'm sorry, said Raisin. I'm just no good at this. It looks easy to me, said Fox. Oh, really, said Raisin. Then you try it. Fox gave the baton a twirl, and he dropped it on his toe. Ouch, he yelled. This is harder than it looks. But soon he got the hang of it, and then he got better and better. Raisin couldn't believe her eyes. Wow, said Dexter. Will you look at that? Fox, said Mr. Sharp, may I speak to you a moment? What now? Said Fox. On the day of the big parade, the band was great. Fox could show off to his heart's content, and the crowd went wild. Fox be nimble. So, how about this for a thread of continual amazement and magic? This book about Fox is a chapter book. I didn't even know it. And guess what? So is our next book, The Path of Finn McCool by Sally Prue, illustrated by Brendan Carney. I think I'm saying that right. I'm so excited. The Path of Finn McCool. Now, I know I don't normally read the books beforehand, but I did look at the back of this book, and I will say that Finn McCool is a giant, the biggest giant in the whole of Ireland. However, when he sets across the sea to Scotland, he realizes he isn't the biggest giant in the world. Soon it's up to Finn's wife, Una, to come to the rescue. I like that. I mean, think about that. The rescuing character is a lady. Here we go. You guys excited? All the way from Ireland. Look, it smells like here. Chapter 1. There's a bus. If you go to Northern Ireland and you catch the 172 bus to Ballycastle, then you'll get to one of the very strangest places in the world. There by the sea, you'll find the Giant's Causeway, and you'll hardly be able to believe your eyes at the sight of it. A great wide path of black stones it is, all cut with straight sides to them, and fitting together as snug as a honeycomb. You live there? I live 4 miles from Finn McCool's Giant's Causeway. Wow. And where does the path go? It goes straight out from the shore and down under the waves of the Irish Sea. Now you'll be wondering why anyone should build a path that doesn't go anywhere. But if you have a boat and you feel like an adventure, you can sail across the sea to Staffa in Scotland. Staffa or Staffa. And there you'll find the other end of the path, coming up out on the land again. And each stone is so heavy that there's never been any man alive strong enough to lift it. Now this is the story of how the path was made and why most of the stones are under the sea. So that now you need a boat to get to Scotland. It happened long ago in the times when there were giants and little folk living in Ireland. Now the giants were good people. They were very handy if you wanted your house moved so you had a better view, or so you could put a river between you and your relations. In fact, the giants gave little trouble except for one terrible, big, boasting fellow who was called Finn McCool. Finn McCool was 16 meters and 2 centimeters tall, and the little folk were always having to run for their lives when he came clumping along, not looking where he was going. Now, this giant was lucky enough to have a wife and a baby. The baby was a sweet child, not much more than 5 meters long, and luckily taking after its mother. Finn's wife was called Una, and the only silly thing she'd ever done in her life was to marry Finn McCool. He wants me to do the accent. I'll try when he talks. Many was the time the little folk would come knocking at her door, complaining because Finn had knocked bits off their houses with his great clumsy feet, or spoiled their music with his singing, which sounded like the north wind with a bellyache. And then Una, who was a kind, sensible woman, would bake them a cake the size of a dance floor to cheer them up, and she would tell Finn to watch where he was going. Now, there came a day when the little folk had visitors from Scotland, so they decided to hold a party to celebrate. I can't. Now, you stay away, said Una to Finn. They won't want you trampling about with your great big feet. Go to the forest and pull up some trees for the fire. Well, Finn didn't like being told what to do, even though ignoring Una was always a surefire way to get into trouble. No one's stopping me going to the party, he said to himself. I'll show them what a dancing should really look like. The thump, thump, thump of the little folks' band could be heard halfway to Scotland, and all the seagulls were sitting with their wings pulled up over their ears. But Finn hopped along in a fine mood. He stood up on a hill above the place where the little folk were having their party, and he began to dance. Well, well, well. Oh, that's funny. Chapter 2. Now, Finn was not the daintiest person you could find. In fact, you could look about you for a month and not find such a clod-hopping oaf as him. He began to jump up and down on the hill, and the little folk began to think there was a thunderstorm on its way. So they took themselves into the food tent to find some ice cream and some fairy cakes. But up on the hill, Finn McCool kept on with his hopping and bopping. He jumped and thumped and shook the ground so hard that the tent pegs jutted their way loose, and the whole tent came down on the little folks' heads. Well, the little folk crawled out of the tent, all rumpled and squashed, with bits of ice cream sticking out of their ears. Hey, they shouted. Oaf, clumsy great clot. I picture them like this. Look how cute. What is it? Ooh. I'm trying to see what you wrote. Ooh. Hey, the chief of the Scottish little folk was especially angry. He was so angry that he climbed a tree until he came right up to Finn's belly button. You're a great fool, Finn McCool, he bellowed. Now that was exactly what Una was going to say when she heard what had happened. Only she was going to say it 20 times louder. But Finn McCool didn't see why he should take it from anyone else. I'm the biggest giant in Ireland, he shouted back, so I can do what I like. There's no pictures, but it's what he said. You may be a giant, bawled the chief of the Scottish little isle. You know, they speak differently, though. I'm not sure I could do a Scottish accent. I think I've tried it, and I sound like a tinker. Or maybe I sound like a tinker doing an Irish accent. You may be a giant, bawled the chief of Scottish little folk, but you're not nearly as big as Brennan Donner in Scotland. He's a real giant for you. He could throw a cow right over a mountain with his little finger. Now, Finn McCool didn't like the idea that there might be a bigger giant than him at all. Every day after that, he kept thinking about Brennan Donner, and in the end, couldn't stand it any longer. He decided he had to go to Scotland to find out for sure who was the biggest. But he knew he'd have to do it without Una finding out, or he'd never hear the last of it. Una, my sweet pretty love, he said one day, why don't you take yourself away for a nice holiday to see your sister and take the baby with you? She looks suspicious. Now, Una was no fool, and she knew Finn McCool was up to something straight away. She put her hands on her hips and wondered what it was. She decided to take the dear baby to her sister's house and then sneak back to see what Finn was up to. So Una put on her shawl round her shoulders and wrapped the baby in another, and off they went. And as soon as they had gotten over the hill, Finn McCool picked up a hammer the size of a house and bounded down the shore. And there he began to build a path to Scotland. Chapter 3. Now Finn had a big head, though he seldom disturbed the brains inside it. Still, that didn't mean he couldn't use a hammer. He raised the hammer high in the air and he brought it down on the rocks of the cliff. Smash! The rock split into long columns with fine straight sides, all ready to be dropped into the sea. It was hot and heavy work, but Finn split the rocks and then put them together again so they fitted as snug as a honeycomb. Soon there was the beginning of a fine black path reaching out across the sea. The sound of his hammer echoed throughout the land and shook the gannets up Isla Craig. But Finn carried on working. He worked night and day until the sweat dropped off his nose, and when dawn came up on the third day, he could see the misty mountains of Scotland. Look at that. And after that, he worked even faster. On the other side of Ireland, at her sister's house, Una McCool tucked the baby into its cradle, gave him his rattle that was made out of the rib cage of an ox, and tied her shawl back around her shoulders. You're a good sister to look after the baby for me, she said. I won't be long, but I have to get back to see what that good-for-nothing husband of mine is up to. I hope the dear baby won't be any trouble. Of course not, said the baby's aunt. I'll help him wrestle with the bull when he wakes up. He'll like that for sure. But when Una got home, there was no sign of Finn at all. Uh-oh. Tooraloo. There was only sound of like thunder a long way across the sea. So Una made herself a nice cup of tea and waited to see what would happen. Finn had never worked so hard in all his life, but there at last was Scotland before him. All fine little islands and air that danced with midges. By lunchtime, he came out on the shore. He jumped up the nearest cliff in 2 strides of his great knobbly legs and went off in search of the giant Brennan Donner. Now Finn was walking along by a lake when he heard a terrible thumping and banging in the ground, shivered under his feet. That must be thunder, he said to himself. It got louder and louder, but there was no rain at all. Scotland is a strange place, he said, because in Ireland it rains whenever it gets the chance. And then over the hill, Finn saw something coming. At first, it looked like a big haystack, But then it got bigger and longer until it blotted out a good bit of the sky. And then all of a sudden, Finn realized that it was the biggest head he had ever seen. Well, Finn let out a squawk and jumped right into the lake. He lay down in the cold water with just his eyes and his nose poking out among the reeds. Do you see it? Look at that. The great creature was still coming closer. On the end of its huge shoulders grew arms like tree trunks, and on the end of the arms, like tree trunks, hung the biggest, toughest, most knobby fist Finn had ever seen. Brendan Donner, the giant. Brendan Donner had muscles all over him. When Brendan Donner walked, his body was so hard that it creaked. But you could hardly hear the creaking because of the footsteps. Oh, look at that. And look at Finn. Finn is in the water. Oh. His footsteps were loud enough to burst your eardrums. Behind him, he left a line of holes where his weight had split the rocks. Now, Finn had a big head, and though his brains were usually dozing, he was out of the lake and running as fast as he could the moment Brendan Donner was out of sight. And in less time than it takes to tell, he was running back along his beautiful black path all the way to Ireland. Chapter 4. Finn McCool didn't stop running until he was in his own house. Una was there mixing up some cake in a bowl the size of a bathtub. Finn stood and he panted and groaned and gasped. "What's the matter?" said Una, breaking 3 dozen eggs into the bowl with a flick of her wrist. "I am going to die," said Finn. "I've been all the way to Scotland, and there's a giant there called Brendan Donner, and his muscles so big he could throw me over the mountain." "Aye, well, never mind," said Una. "That needn't bother us, for he's a long way away. There's no boat in the world that'd hold a great hulk like him, and we can be quite sure he'll never learn to fly." But Finn sat down and shook his head. "He doesn't need a boat," he said, "because I built a path across the sea all the way to Scotland." And at that moment, there came a low rumbling from over the sea. It sounded like thunder, but Finn knew what it was. It was the footsteps of the very biggest giant of all. "I'm going to die," moaned Finn again. That's the second time in 2 books that sentence has come out. That is such an interesting, magical moment. "Oh, calm yourself, Finn," said Una, and carried on making her cakes. She made a mixture and poured half of it into the tin, size of a cartwheel. Then she did the same with the rest, except that into the middle of this cake, she put the iron griddle she used when she made scones. I love shortbread and scones. Shortbread's, I think, Scottish. The thunder was getting closer and closer. Una opened the iron door above the fireplace and put the cakes in the oven. "I'm going to die," said Finn. "Brendan Donner will pull my head off and use it for a football. He'll gnaw my bones. He'll make buttons out of me toenails." "Nonsense," said Una. "You've forgotten all about your secret weapon." Finn stared at her. "Have I got a secret weapon?" he asked hopefully. "Oh, yes," said Una, and she fetched 2 nice clean sheets and her best petticoat. "Now roll up your trousers, Finn McCool, and show me your knobbly knees." Una pinned one sheet to the front of Finn McCool and the other behind him. Then she tied her petticoat around his head. Finn looked like the biggest fool in Ireland, but he was so scared that he didn't say a word. "Now jump into the baby's cradle," said Una, "for Ben and Donner's coming up the path." So Finn McCool jumped into the baby's cradle and pulled the covers up to his nose. Now, Finn was 16 meters and 2 centimeters tall, and the baby was barely 5 meters, even though he was a fine baby that could drain a cow dry for breakfast. Finn's hairy legs stuck out at the bottom of the cradle, and his great knobbly fingers clutched at the blanket, and his eyes were so wide with terror that they were as big as millstones. And no sooner was he all tucked up that there came a bang, bang, bang at the door of the house. This sounds so familiar to me. Like I feel like I know this story. And at the third bang on the door, fell off its hinges, and Ben and Donner stood there, as tall as a cliff and twice as ugly. Chapter 5. I think we're going to get to wish time together. "Where's Finn?" Ben and Donner bellowed as loud as a hurricane. "Was that Finn McCool you're Wrong one. Now it's Una's voice. "Was that Finn McCool you were wanting?" asked Una, putting the cakes on the table. They smelled like heaven, and Ben and Donner licked his lips with a tongue the size of a ham and took a step inside. "Finn McCool, the biggest giant in Ireland? 'Cause you won't find him here today. The little folk told me he lives here," Ben and Donner roared. "I'm going to bash his head and mash the rest of him into I don't know what this word is. Rissoles? Rissoles. And mash the rest of them into rissoles." "Well, in that case, you better come right in," said Una. So Ben and Donner took another step into the room, and he was so ugly that Finn couldn't help but let out a yelp of terror. "Ah," said Una fondly, "the little baby must be hungry, poor thing." And she gave one cake to Finn McCool and the other to Ben and Donner. Well, Ben and Donner took hold of his cake with both hands and opened his mouth as wide as a church door. Then he took a great bite out of it with his big teeth. Clang! "Ow! Ow!" howled Ben and Donner with his mouth full of iron and his eyes spinning like windmills. It's wish time. Make a wish. "Oh dear," said Una. "That cake's not too hard for you, is it, Mr. Donner? Because I could give it a soak in some milk for you, like I do for my poor old mother." But Ben and Donner was as big-headed as Finn was. In fact, some of the time he was worse. "No cake's too hard for me," he blustered, grinding his teeth. Two of them fell out, but he spat them into the corner. "I thought it could be," said Una, "for that's the special soft cake that I baked for the baby. Bless him." Now Ben and Donner tried to look at the babies. Now Ben and Donner tried not to look at babies if he could avoid it. But he looked across at the cradle, and his eyes nearly popped out. "Why, that's the ugliest baby ever," he shouted, for the baby had a great bulb of a nose and the knobbliest knees Ben and Donner had ever seen. "Sure, he takes after his father," said Una proudly. Ben and Donner looked at the baby some more. The baby had big knobbly hands, big knobbly feet, and a whole mat of hairs on his chest, and was eating its cake with no trouble at all. Now Ben and Donner's brains were usually fast asleep and snoring, but that woke them up all right. If Finn McCool's baby was that big and that strong and that ugly, well then, what was his father like? Well, Ben and Donner was out of that house and halfway to shore faster than I can tell you. And by the time Finn had heaved himself out of the cradle, Ben and Donner was racing back across Finn McCool's path to Scotland just as fast as his great hairy legs would take him. And just to be on the safe side, Ben and Donner pulled up lots of the stones. As he went and threw them into the sea, where they made a new island, which today is called the Isle of Man. And so from that very day, Finn McCool was the biggest giant in Ireland again. But if ever Finn got too bossy or too big-headed or too careless about where he's put his big flat feet, then Una would take him down to the shore and show him the beginning of the path he'd made. And when Finn McCool thought about Ben and Donner, he would stop being big-headed at once. He'd go and pull up a couple of rose bushes as a present for Una, who was his secret weapon. Or else he'd take some of the little folk for a nice ride round Ireland in a basket. Now, that all happened long, long ago. But if you go to Northern Ireland and take the number 172 bus to Ballycastle, you can still see the great black stones of the beginning of the path that Finn McCool made. And if you go to Staffa in Scotland, you can see the other end too, at a place called Fingal's Cave. And sure as I'm telling you, there's the Isle of Man, as large as life, just where Ben and Donner threw all the rest of Finn's stones into the sea. And all of it was done by the biggest giant of Ireland, Finn McCool. That was a great story. I love that. That's amazing. You see that every day? Wow. But have you ever seen the giants? I love it. Thank you so much. What a great gift this is. I'm so excited to have it. Keep it forever and ever and ever with my other book. And I'm so grateful that everyone stayed to learn all about it, about Finn McCool and the path. I mean, that's amazing. You know what time it is now, right? It's hug time. So, get my Squishmallow out. Thank you for everyone that's still here watching. And I hope you had a great time enjoying a story about something that I've never heard of before. That was amazing. And it's a true story. I believe in giants and fairies and the wee people. Well, well, well. It's time for a hug. Okay. Put your right hand on your left shoulder and your left hand on your right. And give yourself a hug from me. Hug yourself so tight. And don't forget to hug the Una in your life, or the Finn McCool. I was just thinking. Okay, so know that I love you and everything will be all right. And I'll see you tomorrow morning. The letter is G tomorrow, and tomorrow is Friday. Can you believe it? Hey, Daryl. There's Daryl. Nice to see you. Good morning. All right, let's breathe our way out. You ready? I am enlightened. I am excited. I am grateful. I am content. Thank you so much for watching today and every day. I'll see you tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. and we'll see what books tomorrow brings. All right? Don't forget, send love and light out to everyone you can, especially our friends dealing with COVID-19 and especially those in California. See you tomorrow. Bye.